What is up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Hi, how are you? Happy New Year. OMG, it's 2025. I haven't talked to y'all since July, which is crazy. Today, we're going to do our annual. Is it annual? I don't really know. But it will now be annual 2024 recap because a lot of stuff happened in 2024. I feel like I always tell my mom, like, I feel like I didn't do much. And then I reflect and I look at my like camera roll from the past year and it's like, oh, I did a lot. So that's where we're at today. But yeah, we're just going to go month by month, event by event. And just talk about, all of the things that happened. So, starting off right off the bat in January 5th, we are 6 days from my 23rd birthday. I go and get lunch with mom. That's how I started my year off. We met halfway. We ate at a Chinese buffet. Mom's currently in the room with me. Uh,
Hey.
We ate at a Chinese buffet, which I think was pretty mid, if I remember correctly. And then,
Extremely mid.
extre-
Probably less than mid.
yeah, probably less than mid. Um, but we did that, and then as a birthday gift for myself, we went grocery shopping at Walmart. And then I went back to Cleveland. She went back to Nashville. More on that later. And then worked NSO, which is New Student Orientation. Then on my actual birthday, I went out to eat with my friend Claire, and we went shopping, and it was so fun. We had Texas Roadhouse, and I love Texas Roadhouse. It was so good. And then I got into a choir. That was a side quest that I did. Yeah, that was a thing I did last spring. So it was an interesting side quest. Not the wisest decision, but a very spontaneous and interesting decision that was made. So I was in that for a semester, and I'll talk about some funny moments as we get into the end of January. I worked a bunch, and yeah, I went to Steam Boys, which they have really good dumplings. I'm looking at this photo of the dumplings I got. And I kind of went dumplings. Oh, and Domino was being the cutest. Domino is currently here, scratching on her scratch pad. I took a nap at work, and uh,
That's her scratch pad.
huh?
You said my scratch pad.
Oh, it is her scratch pad, not my scratch pad. I took a nap at work, and Claire took a picture of me taking a nap during lunch. It was great. And then February 11th, our ensemble went to Sevierville for a church service, and we didn't get back till 2 in the morning because one of our buses got stuck in the mud.
Yep.
So many churchy moments were had. Many praise breaks were breaking. Went to Alabama with my ensemble, spent way too many late nights hanging out with friends. What else? Then that was pretty much February. February was kind of like a not much happened a month. So March, we went down to Alabama for one night or 2 nights. I think it was one night.
One.
Yeah, because the other one canceled. Yes. And went down there. This was right at the beginning of spring break. So I didn't go on spring tour because I was doing something arguably better. I went to England for my Global Perspectives trip, which was a blast. It was so fun. Went as a school trip, went by myself, organized the entire trip. Got to see my auntie Monica, who's not my biological aunt, but
Might as well be.
might as well be. And got to meet some now very close and dear friends, and got to visit Birmingham, got to visit East Croydon and London. I've been to London once in 2019, and I'm just so thankful I was able to go on this trip, and thankful to the people who donated for me to go on this trip. Thankful for Auntie Monica and Pastor and Sister Rodney in East Croydon for allowing me to stay with them and feed me, and Sister Grace for just being literally the sweetest person ever. And we went to Auntie Monica and I went to St. Paul's Cathedral when I went to London the last half of my trip, and it was so much fun. We had a blast, and I was talking to them when I went, because they had never gone to St. Paul's. And I said, yeah, when I lived in Nashville with Mom, we would make an effort to go to all the touristy things, because you never know what all is in your city until you go. So I think that encouraged them to kind of go to some of the touristy things, because St. Paul's is just so beautiful, like so majestic. And while we were there, they had like a time of prayer, like midday prayer. So, because it is an Anglican church, I think. Or is it Catholic? I think it's Anglican. I also got to visit Nehemiah Housing, which is low income housing in Birmingham. And it came out of the Church of God of Prophecy in the UK. And also got to visit our administrative offices there. Got to meet Bishop Llewellyn Graham. That was super fun. And I really just had the best time, except for the fact that my purse got stolen. But everything has been replaced. Everything is fine. None of my money got stolen. We're Gucci, okay? I did not freak out. And I'm very proud of myself. And I didn't let it ruin my trip. So, I'm looking back at my St. Paul's photos and like all the people who are buried in the basement. Oh, I also got a picture with the statue of John Wesley. Oh my gosh, I see this meme of Mrs. Bouquet that I sent you. Oh my gosh, and I got to go to Pret a Manger. My favorite coffee shop ever. And I rode the train, rode the tube by myself. I had an Oyster card that I would just keep refilling. Went to the British Museum and saw the Rosetta Stone in real life. Which, if you know, I grew up reading Rick Riordan books. So the Kane Chronicles were my favorite books, like book trilogy growing up. So to see like the Rosetta Stone, which is such a pinnacle part of that series, was amazing. Oh my goodness. Let me gain this down a little bit. Okay, that's better. So did that, did a lot of shopping, did a lot of exploring, went to church at Pastor Dennis's church that Sunday, and he asked me to testify. He didn't tell me he was doing this. So I testified, and it was crazy because the Holy Spirit wove everything that was said and sung in the service together. And it was just such an uplifting and fun trip, and I can't wait to go back and hopefully live there in the future, at least for a little bit. Then I came back end of March, was getting some content with Claire for the Lee security account. And then April, not much happened in April, but I did make a meme of my brother and got a really cute picture of Domino. So that's about it. In May, the semester ended. Not much happened in April, obviously. Either my nephew graduated, so I went down there, did a big girl thing with my siblings. And then June, summer really started off. Went to the Forward Conference with my youth group. And that was the best youth conference I've ever been to. And I've been to Passion. I went to Passion a few years ago. But Forward was just, the music was amazing. The arena was fun. Tribe Wars was rigged. Stallion should have won. I still stand by that. And the speakers were amazing. I love Pastor Jensen Franklin. He's amazing. More on him in a bit. But yeah, the Forward Conference, I will definitely, hopefully go and chaperone, quote unquote, again, hopefully this upcoming summer. So yeah, many times were had. The youth group that went grew a lot closer, and it was just such a fun time. Then in July, I went to Dollywood for the first time. I call this the infamous Dollywood trip because I nearly passed out in heat exhaustion within the first hour of being in the park. No, I was not prepared for Dollywood, okay? I didn't know that it was all uphill. I knew nothing about this place. I didn't even know they had cinnamon bread. I knew nothing. So, it was like 90 something degrees, and I nearly passed out. I had to go to the first aid station and get electrolytes.
After she called her mom.
After I called my mom, because I was like, I don't know what's going on. And of course, me being me, I have a heart condition, but at the time I didn't really like take care of my heart nor my body. So, the vibes were not there. The vibes were not. But we did get to go to the museums that she has there about her life, and the behind the scenes museum, which is the newest one, I believe, and seeing all her outfits and all her shoes and stuff. And then we watched Kingdom Heirs. They're like a Southern gospel group. They were pretty good. Their mixing was terrible, but from what I could hear, which wasn't much, they were pretty good. And then I had the cinnamon bread, and my life was changed. Truly. That stuff was so good. And then we drove back at sunset, and it was really cute. And then in July, also, I took my grandparents out to eat. We went to Loopy's and ate pizza. Well, I had a calzone. Granny had lasagna. Papa had something. I can't remember. And then a cat was outside my apartment, so I adopted it for a few days. I fostered a cat for a kitten for 4 days. I wanted to keep the kitten, but Domino hated him. I named him Midnight. He was the cutest. I think if he had been there for a little longer, she would have grown used to him. But she's a single child, so, And then later, mid-July, I was in Nashville because and by we, I mean I, made the decision that Mom was going to move in with me. Because she was not doing well in Nashville by herself. So I was like, come move in with me. My apartment may be small, but it forces her to walk more, which is good for her legs and good for her health, really. And I'm here and a bunch of her family's here, so she's not all alone in Nashville. And it saves on us gas money because I'm not having to drive back and forth to Nashville every other weekend. So we were going through the house. I was packing everything up. We found some really old photos, like real throwback photos of me when I was a kid at Christmas. And then I went to hang out with Claire because she was doing her internship. And then after that, I went to the Nashville Palace to see my friend Grayson at a songwriters night. And that was super fun. I enjoyed that. More packing. Went to Cleveland for a couple of days just to check on Domino. And also to work some and watch my friends get married. It was such a cute wedding. I was so happy for them. And this is when I discovered that my air filter in my apartment had been in there for 2 years without being changed. Anyway, no, it was a year. It was 2 years, I think. No, it was a year. I think it was a year. It was some long periodically amount of time that it was in there and should not have been. OMG. I went to see Twisters in theaters. And that was such a good movie. Not my favorite movie. It was my second favorite movie. My favorite movie that I watched in 2024 was If, Imaginary Friends. Oh my gosh, with Ryan Reynolds and John Krasinski. That movie was so good. Although Ryan Reynolds is not on my good list right now. We all know why. Hashtag justice for Justin Baldoni. But, yeah. It was such a good movie. And Glenn Powell, let me tell you. It's a fine man right there. And that's all I'm going to say. Okay, got some really cute photos of Domino. Then, very tail end of July, Mom and I made the trip to Orlando, Florida for the Church of God of Prophecy International Assembly, where we were helping and singing in the mass choir. And I went to a young adult mixer with my friend Jeff, and a time was had. A time was in fact had. And I got to see my friends from England, got to see Auntie Monica. You know, it was so fun. I was so happy to see them. It was a very tough trip just because there was a lot of walking. I was having to push Mom in a wheelchair the whole time. The carpets were garbage. But you know what? It turned out to be a very nice trip. Aw, more pictures of Domino. August. Mom is officially in Cleveland. We moved Mom in August. It was a very tight timeline, okay, of moving her. Because I had school. Like a week after we got back from assembly. So I had a week to pack up an entire house, which the Lord really came through. We had a packing party with a few friends of ours, loaded up the U-Haul the next day, drove it here, and my family helped unload. Mom drove it here. I drove her car. Then end of August, so the semester had started already. End of August, on Labor Day weekend, I went down to Eupora, Mississippi to go to Ignite, which is a youth conference thing, retreat, youth college and career retreat, really, for the Church of God of Prophecy, which originally started out as like only a few states, and then it's just grown, and so people from like all over North America have been coming. So I got to see some of my favorite bishops. I love y'all so much. Just some of my friends, and it was so fun to just be reunited with some people that I don't see very often. Made the best meme of Bishop Dr. Brian Sutton, excuse me. And I think that could be rated in one of the best memes I've ever made. And then came home, and Live, Laughed, Loved, made a bunch of content for Music and Worship, because I was now not only the social media coordinator, but I was also acting president of the Music and Worship Club, because we were reinstating the club as it had been inactive. Then our sanctuary renovations were done. So we're back in our sanctuary now at church, which is super fun. We had dinner at the Sheiks, which is such a fun time for our music and worship majors. In September, we did a big thing, Mom and I did. We launched a podcast. It's called the Real Mother-Daughter Podcast. You can listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts. And we also have a website. I always butcher the name of our own podcast. TheRealMotherDaughterPodcast.com, and also follow us on Instagram at TheRealMotherDaughterPod. Okay, thank you. Domino has a special secret page on the podcast website. If you can find it, tag me in it on Instagram. We went to Rockwood, and then Mom's birthday was in September, and I posted the best post with some of the worst photos. because I'm all about embarrassing people in 2024. Okay. Then worked celebration. I had my little uniform on. I had my little radio. I had a golf cart. I was on parking lot duty. It was fun. Saw Clark Beckham. That was fun. Mom's car battery died. So Papa came to the rescue and I bought a battery. So when before Mom moved in, I have a 1-bed, 1-bath apartment, okay? And 2 people are living here and we're not sharing a room. So I was like, what am I going to do? So I moved my bed to the living room. And the way it's set up is actually very smart. And I think I may keep it like that even after she moves out, if I stay in this apartment. So you have like my bedroom area, then the living room area, then the dining room area. And it works really well. So there's also like a giant closet out here. Not a giant closet, but it's a good sized closet. So I have all my clothes out here, and I had way too many clothes for the closet out here, so I got rid of like
too many clothes in general.
That's true. I had too many clothes in general. So I got rid of a ton of clothes, and I got rid of pretty much all my polyester clothing at the time because natural fabrics are better for you. So I kept my cotton, my linen and stuff. Got a bunch of content for the music and worship page. Times were had. And then that was leading us into October, where Mom and I went on a cruise. We went to Nassau, Bahamas, Grand Turk, Turks and Caicos, and Amber Cove, Dominican Republic. And the one thing I will forever remember about this cruise is the food. The food.
I had steak every night.
She had steak every night because she was like almost a month into carnivore at that point. So, which we can publicly talk about now since you're like over 100 days into this. But she was doing carnivore. I was trying to eat quote unquote cleaner. It didn't really work. But yeah, the food was amazing. Our waitresses at our formal dining spot were amazing. Shout out to y'all. You're the best. The views outside of our room, like on the balcony, were breathtaking. And the like Grand Turk and Amber Cove were so pretty. It was a lot of fun. I just still think about that lobster mac and cheese or seafood mac and cheese I had at Margaritaville. And then, oh my gosh. Okay, as I am recording this, it is like snowing. It is coming down. It's January 10th, the day before my birthday. So we're probably going to be snowed in today. Anyway. Then we got off the boat in Miami, and Mom and I drove. Well, actually, Mom drove the whole time, pretty much, because I had school the next day. So we drove all the way back from Miami to home. Then more into October, had dinner with some good friends who were in town. The first episode of our podcast officially released. And then my friend Roy had his Hope for Exiles concert, which was fun. We did the Apple Festival with Maddie, which is my bestie. Yes, we got a picture with the hot dog truck.
And you got a great sign for your door.
Yes, I got a great sign, which says, like a good neighbor, stay over there. And my rug says, welcome, just kidding, please go away. Can you tell I really want people at my apartment? That's a joke, but I do think it's funny. We went to a piano concert at Lee and wore matching sweatshirts, which was super fun. Mom, on the night of Treat Street at church, Mom went to visit her brother who was in the hospital in her alien costume. And I have a picture of him laying in the hospital bed.
Wow.
He's fine. He's alive.
Wow.
And she's like leaning over with her like it's it's hard to like explain, but it's a really funny photo. And then that's I have another Martin Luther meme. It says, "We found God in a popeless place." Anyway, then that's pretty much it for October. November, Mom and I went to Peachtree, Georgia for another Unknown tour. And then the Sunday after we got back, Mom fell, but that's a little thing. She's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. And then that's pretty much like the only big thing that happened in November. Pretty much. We have... Oh, yeah. Forgot. There's like a whole month in November. Wait, a whole month in November. We made a fat trip in November. So the end of the semester was upon us. Oh, I went to Disney in November. It was a very last minute trip because my aunt and uncle weren't able to go. So I flew with my cousin down to Orlando and we went on a little family vacay with her brother, my cousin-in-law, and her family. And we had the best time. I had the best time at Disney. I took a week off of school. It was great. So all the rides we did. I rode Rite of Passage, which was my favorite ride at Disney. I wanted to go on it 100 times. And then we did Expedition Everest. My cousin lied to me. He lied. Oh my gosh, the photos of like me at the drop is hilarious. And then we did It's Tough to Be a Bug, which is with Flick from A Bug's Life, and it was so cute. And of course, all the parks are decorated for Christmas, so it was gorgeous. And then we ate at the Polynesian Resort twice, and it was so good, so good. I got a selfie with Stitch. And then we did Magic Kingdom the first full day. And we did Carousel of Progress, which was so interesting. That was so cool. I rode Space Mountain, which that was my first ever roller coaster, and it was a good, fun, and fresh time. We did the teacups. I didn't do Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but they did. We got beignets, and they were so good. I got to meet Grayson, the Casey's pianist who does ragtime. And he does his own ragtime arrangements. And he's so good. And he did an arrangement of Chim Chimmery and Carol of the Bells. That's the one you listened to. It was so good. I posted it on my Instagram, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was amazing. Then our second full day, we went to Epcot for the Food and Wine Festival, and I ate a lot of good food. We went to France, and I got to try the beef bourguignon, and it was so good. Literally the best thing I've ever eaten. And I also got a butter crepe. I think about that crepe all the time. And then we did Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, which was super fun. And then I rode Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Let me tell y'all about this ride. So, I'm sitting there in my little pod with my cousin Tyler.
Your grandparents are going to call any second.
Yeah, they are. And I'm just live, laugh, loving. I have no idea what this ride is about. And so I'm there. We're in a little pod. And it starts to take us up. And I didn't realize when it said Cosmic Rewind that they meant that literally. Because the drop isn't up. Isn't forward. It's backwards. So, the pod also spins around. which I was not kosher with. I was not good with it. So the picture of me freaking out that you see if you follow me on Instagram is me hyperventilating. And pretty sure in the middle of a panic attack.
That's correct.
I had a great time though. It was a good time. Kind of. And then our last full day we went to Hollywood Studios. We did Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railroad. We met Frozone and Edna Mode. We rode Star Wars Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance, which is both of them are Rise of the Resistance is the one on the magnetic tracks like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is. But this one has a drop in it, and it's so interesting how they do it. And then we did Muppet 3D, which we found out at the beginning, late last year, beginning of this year, that they're actually closing it and getting rid of it to make room for, is it Monsters, Inc.? I can't remember exactly. And we went on the Skyliner. I went back to Magic Kingdom to see Grayson play. And then we ate in Epcot in France, and I had the beef bourguignon again. And I had this tart thing, and it wasn't that good. I should have gotten the gelato. And then Tess and I flew home the next day. So then ended the semester, had finals. We had a Thanksgiving dinner. Excuse me. We had a Thanksgiving dinner at church, which was super good, and we had the best turkey of our lives. And then I got 18 service hours, attended a birthday party for our grandma Ann, and mom led worship at a district service in Knoxville for Northeast and Southeast region. My friend Jordan had his senior worship project, which mom and I got content for. And that was the end of the semester. And I got very good grades this semester, which I was very proud of myself because I worked really hard to pass my classes. And then my other favorite trip of the year. We went to Maryland for Thanksgiving to be with my auntie and my uncle and their family. And we had so much fun. It was such a good time. We went to DC. It was a fun and fresh time. We went to DC and went to Museum of the Bible, which that is a whole other podcast episode that I will have mom join me on to talk about because it was so good. Oh my gosh. We're going again at some point maybe this year. We'll have to see. But that was just an incredible experience. And then we spent Thanksgiving with them, and we were able to attend their service at Life Source International Church, which
was
absolutely fantastic. The pastors, Pastor Michael and Becky McDermott, are amazing. They're so sweet. I can't wait to go back and see them and visit with them and stay forever. Okay. Then we drove back, and actually the semester hasn't ended. I don't know why I keep saying that the semester has ended because I'm not even to our music and worship Christmas party yet, which I hosted, and my mommy helped me decorate. And by helped, I mean she did all the decorating and I did all the buying. Hosted a gingerbread decorating competition, which was so fun. We serenaded Dr. Sheeks with his favorite Christmas song. I don't know if it's actually his favorite Christmas song, but it's from his favorite Christmas movie. Spotify Wrapped came out. That was a whole thing. Hozier was my number one artist. Quickly entered and then exited my Hozier phase this year because of a paper I wrote for Music History Antiquity. Went to eat at Loopy's again with my philosophy, music, and worship class. And then the semester was finally over. Yes. Went to support my friend Daniel in his choir concert at Cleveland Sturt, which was fun. Went to Bradley Lights, which was the cutest. And then the week finals ended that weekend, I was in Virginia with mom because I was singing in a Christmas program at the church I interned at, which is also her bestie's church. And she was also directing a song. So I had a solo song, and I opened the program. He told me that I was singing it a week before. This isn't the first time he's done this to me. And at this point, I should be used to it. And I had one run through of the song before the concert. And I think it went okay. I think it went well, I guess. But it was so fun. Got to see so many good friends. Got to see my little sisters, which was so fun. I love them. And then we went and did Colonial Williamsburg. And that was so fun. It was raining pretty much the whole day. But we did like the Governor's Palace. We did a little bit of exploring. We went to the art museum. Mom really went to the art museum. And we got annual passes because they were 1 penny, 1 cent more than day passes during their Black Friday sale. So I got us a couple of annual passes. And then came back from Virginia. That was in December. And then Mom decided to finish her undergrad degree. So she's going to leave this semester. And that's another like podcast episode that we can go through, because the Lord literally worked all the miracles for her to be at Lee. And we had dinner at a friend's house with some girlfriends, which was fun. We had the last Sunday before Christmas, which was cool. We spent Christmas at my grandparents' house. I read a over 200-page book. No, was it? Yeah. I think it was over 400-page book in 3 days, which was good. I posted some videos on my YouTube channel. We strung up lights in my apartment.
It looks so good.
It looks so good. And then a cultural thing for us, me half Caribbean, Mom fully Caribbean folk, is New Year's Eve is known as Old Year's Day. And you're supposed to clean your entire house/apartment before the new year arrives. So we cleaned this entire apartment before the new year, did all the laundry, washed all the dishes. I mopped at least 5 times in the bathroom and the kitchen. And it was just like such a good and like peaceful time. I read The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry and A Darker Shade of Magic, which is the first book in the Shades of Magic series. She's in the window behind you. And now we are watching the snow fall. And she fallen fast. But late this year, for about a month now, I've consistently been doing the carnivore diet. And this, along with The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and I'm reading right now Holy Huga, has really changed my perspective on health and wellness, and that I was killing myself because I was so busy all the time and wasn't taking care of myself, which is mostly the reason why I ended up in the hospital last year getting my gallbladder taken out, and which I recently rediscovered that I cannot have caffeine, like hardly at all. Like I can't drink caffeinated coffee anymore. I have to drink decaf because it wreaks havoc. And I think also the carnivore diet is also partially to blame because I'm eating so much cleaner that my body cannot handle that toxin. It doesn't want to handle that toxic load anymore. So I'm drinking decaf coffee now. But it's obviously, I said it's January 10th, and so far I have lost 31 pounds on the carnivore diet, which is super cool. I didn't really notice a difference until I was seeing pictures of myself that were taken in Virginia, because I was doing carnivore, but I wasn't super like consistent with it. But even then, I wasn't strict carnivore. But even then, like, I was still losing some weight, and all the inflammation was, like, getting out of my body and stuff. So I'm actually about to edit a video about me being on the carnivore diet to post on my YouTube channel, so you can go check that out. It should be posted probably today. But that was my year of 2024. It was a very good year. A lot of things happened. You know, it was a lot of fun, a very fun year, a very busy year. But now I'm hoping 2025 is going to be a pretty slow, unhurried year. Even in the fast-pacedness of life, you gotta learn how to slow down sometimes. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you like this episode. If you like it, give me a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Noelle_Janae. And I will catch y'all in the next episode. Bye!